Look, there's no sugarcoating it. Last week's crash was devastating for a lot of traders, with wicks down to look like, well, this. Some coins going to essentially zero within minutes, which is insane. You know, this is not the point of today's video. I have the question. Is it possible? May we dare ourselves to be bullish in spite of this massive wipeout? In fact, was this massive wipeout a bullish catalyst in of itself that'll send us much higher? Look, maybe we shouldn't get too black-pilled. You know, Trump's gonna taco this whole thing. There'll be a trade deal between China and the USA. Of course there will be. There is some data, though, showing some pretty persuasive reasons to remain long and strong on the market right now. So let's clear up some very important things here for you. First off, what we saw at the weekend was primarily an altcoin wipeout, particularly on centralized exchanges. On-chain remained pretty good, but coins like Atom, Sui, Cardano got wrecked mega time. It was truly devastating. In the midst of this carnage, our bad boy Bitcoin remained above six figures. Even on Binance, where it went down to 102K, it was still above 100K. And by Saturday morning, it was trading back above $110,000. That's the same price it was just a couple weeks ago. It's fine. It's fine. So it should be pretty clear by now that BTC and alts behave differently from each other. Although that being said, it wasn't only Bitcoin that came out of the crash looking relatively okay. By Sunday, after the plunge, Ethereum was back over $4,000. Solana held up really well. Hype held up pretty decently. BNB hit a new all-time high after the crash, which is a little too strong. But anyway, don't forget that stocks also took a hit at the same time. Stocks finished down 3% for the indexes on Friday. A lot of individual stocks saw much bigger losses than that. Of course, the damage in stocks was nothing like what we saw in crypto, but that underlines something very, very important. Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum, Solana, a few other decent altcoins are becoming more closely comparable with the stock market than with the broader shitcoin casino that everybody thinks of when they think of crypto. So if we want to know how these better quality coins can stand up from here, we need to be looking at where stocks are going next. Peek around the corner, which is exactly what we're going to do. And we're going to be using a very highly contrarian chart, because all I hear everybody, it's the top is in, bear market starting. I've been hearing it nonstop for a very long time. This chart here was posted last week by Ryan Dietrich from the Carson Group. You can see that it highlights the lengths of the previous bull markets. We're talking equities here, not crypto, okay? But with the increasing institutionalization of crypto, Bitcoin, ETFs, stuff like that, digital asset treasury companies, it's important, okay? So it might feel right now like the current bull market has been raging for a very, very long time. There's too much froth around, particularly when it comes to AI names, right? But if you look at this chart going back over the past half century, then of the 5 bull markets that made it over the 2-year mark, all of them continued for significantly longer after that. The shortest was 5 years, the average was 8 years, and 2 got to 10 years or more. By comparison, the current bull market is only 3 years old. So even if we only match the shortest of those previous bull runs, we've got another 2 years to go for equities before they top. And people say, oh, but it's like the dot-com bubble. No, if we were at dot-com bubble levels, the prices of stocks would be 50% higher. That's how crazy the dot-com bubble was. And this is actually fundamental, unlike the dot-com bubble. And you can also see on this chart going all the way back to 1949 that when there is a 3-year bull run, the 4th year results in further gains most of the time. 6 out of 8 cases look like that. But what about all this froth? Doesn't that matter? Shouldn't we be scared? Lark will answer that question for you in just a second. But guys, if you're trading the cryptocurrency markets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, whatever else, check out FEMX, one of crypto's OG exchanges, and they've got an insane promotion. You need to listen up to this. This is insane. Get $3,000, okay? This is a promotion, by the way. It's available very limited time for new and existing users. So if you signed up with my link already, you can still get this week, okay? And it's only running for a few days. You have to act fast. If you deposit $10,000, they're going to put $3,000 back in your account. That is an insane deposit bonus, one of the craziest ones I've ever seen. $5,000 deposit gets you $1,500 back, and $3,000 earns you $350 back. These deals are insanely wild. FEMX has deep liquidity, it's secure. I've used them literally for years. It's available to anyone, anywhere. That means you. You might need VPN in some cases. So don't miss this 1 week window. It's a very limited time offer. Link down below if you haven't signed up yet. If you have already signed up, you're still eligible for that deal if you signed up using my link before, okay? Check it out, link down below. Thank you very much. So let's talk about that froth, okay? Yeah, froth does matter, but that's what corrections are for, to bring everything down to a level before it can continue to run. Pullbacks are totally normal in markets and they cool froth off. That's part of why the market reacted as it did last Friday when Trump announced that a trade war with China was back on and the market pulled back. That's partly because it wanted to pull back. And some renewed tariff drama gave it the reason to do it, which in turn clears the way for further highs. Think of bull markets as 2 steps forward, 1 step back all the time. In fact, knowing what we do about previous tariff-related noise, the selling might even seem like an overreaction. Because again, the taco trade, right? Trump always chickens out, is in play. After all, this is nothing new for Trump. Trump says something explosive, it gets walked back, relations improve. It's all the art of the deal, baby, 4D chess. Beyond such small minds like ours. Trump knows what the hell's going on, I guess. Anyway, I hope so, geez. Anyway, the market gets the reset that it needs, everything keeps pumping, a deal gets made. So tariffs and these little spats with China aren't great short term for the markets. When a resolution is found, the markets can easily rally out of it. And it looks like that's to some extent already happened. We're going to see a lot of back and forth between Trump and Xi Jinping before they meet in 2 weeks in South Korea. But that's all posturing, positioning, and, 2 roosters puffing themselves up before they go for a fight. Anyway, most importantly, we've got the historical precedent shown in these zoomed out stock market charts. If history rhymes, then the higher probability is that the bull run continues for much longer from here, possibly even through to the end of the decade. And that means the Bitcoin bull market carries on too, much like we had with gold ETFs where it went on a multi-year run. Now, as I pointed out before, Bitcoin is macro asset now. With a multi-trillion-dollar market cap, we have institutions, we have sovereigns, we have BlackRock shilling it all the time, they're stacking. These are price-agnostic buyers with no need to sell. They're not buying your random shit coins, okay? I'm sorry. But they are buying Bitcoin, they are buying ETH, they're going to start buying Solana and a few other things. So if we're in bull market conditions for equities, rate cuts are continuing to come in. Paul Tudor Jones thinks we're going to have a lot of rate cuts over the next few months. There is earnings optimism as well. Then we're absolutely in bull market conditions for Bitcoin too. Business cycle isn't even close to being topped out. As you can see from this chart, there's a clear correlation between Bitcoin and equities, and there's no reason why that should not continue. Also, gold and silver look incredibly strong, almost worryingly so to some extent, especially with gold. They weren't affected by the crash last week at all. That strength looks likely to continue if the debasement trade carries on. And there's a strong possibility that BTC can at some point catch up with gold. As for altcoins, are they permanently smoked now after the weekend bloodbath? No. Some are, but that's always the case. As I've been saying throughout the year, you have to be more selective. I've personally cut my own portfolio back massively to have only a few coins, and I still feel like I need to cut a few coins out. You have to be very selective, okay? But one positive from this crash the other day is that there were clear signals with regard to which altcoins are more worth holding. Basically, take a look at which coins bounced back the hardest, which coins dipped the least. Ones that crashed and have not made any sort of significant recovery, watch out. As mentioned, ETH showed resilience, Solana showed resilience, Bitcoin showed resilience. These all have treasury companies buying them. Bitmine from Tom Lee, they also bought the dip in size. There are ETFs pulling in TradFi flows. ETF staking is launched for Ethereum, and it's the top chain, of course, when it comes to stablecoins and RWAs. We're getting a Solana ETF soon to bring in more hype, more money. Beyond BTC and ETH, if you've got stronger altcoins, stuff like Hype, Tensor, these are getting a lot of play. Zcash, right? You don't have to love any of these coins, but you can trade them. So if BTC does have more gas in the tank from here, even if further gains are gradual, then it provides space for the rest of the cryptocurrency market to keep coming up with new narratives and putting in new sector-specific mini-alt seasons along the way. Just don't fall into the trap that you can just hold any random bullshit that you've been holding for years and that you're going to make money. Most of you guys have been fucked with that strategy, okay? I fell into the same trap trying to hold things I thought were decent. Market doesn't give a fuck, okay? Adapt or die. The markets will give a lot to those who can. Thanks for watching.